Welcome back, lacrosse friends, to the 2018 Baggataway Cup on Lacrosse TV. I'm Steven Stamp, joined by Pat Gregoire. It's 7-2 Brock. They almost had the ball there, but the ball is still being contested. Off the face-off, Latrell Harris tries to come up with it. He does eventually, and the Brock Badgers will start with possession. So a strong opening by Brock, but Nipissing starting to look better and better, more like basically like the team that they've been over the last several years. They had some good moments, but just getting better and making their first Baggataway Cup appearance here in 2018 here in Varsity Stadium at the University of Toronto.
You mentioned, I think a lot of it was getting the jitters out, and that's what was happening. You saw them turning the ball over, dropping balls, uncharacteristic for a team that loves to rip the ball around. We just didn't really see a set offensive possession until that second quarter, and I thought a lot of it had to do with the fact they were very nervous. Things have calmed down for them, and they find themselves a little bit closer here, 7-2. Shots were 16-7 in favor of Brock, so we mentioned it before the break. Wood for Nipissing has really kept his team in this one.
Woodland up at the top, the 31 goal scorer in the regular season, throws to the far side. Every once in a while you'll catch at the edge of the screen one of the Volunteers. Oh, there's a great chance. Another big save by Andrew Wood. Scooped up nicely. What a play by Ward Loveday to get that ball. He runs out of trouble. He's going to take the pass back after it rolled over to the far side. Gets the pass back, and here come the Lakers. But they're wearing the very cool U of T plastic ponchos.
Yeah, those are pretty sweet. They're needed. They're still coming down pretty hard out there, and I think that's a lot of maybe a reason why we've seen some weird shots and some off passes. The guys' sticks are pretty soaking wet out there.
Yeah, it's challenging. I mean, you've got to deal with the cold. I don't know if some of the guys are wearing the latex gloves underneath. That's a little trick I play in an old guys league in Peterborough when we play outside in the fall. Mike Walker, his son Ethan, plays for the University of Denver. Mike, he hates being cold. He taught me that trick. You wear the medical gloves underneath, and boy, you stay warm. Your hands just sweat like crazy. Loose ball push. Nipissing will regain or retain possession, and Will Craig will start with the ball. Craig, the 24 goal scorer for Nipissing in the regular season. Phys ed major from Midland, Ontario. In his third year at Nipissing. Now from the top. Dodge from Drinkwater. Goodchild rips one sidearm, gets just wide of the net, and he is flattened by Alec Tamas as he releases the ball. Now a penalty flag comes out. Apparently it was a little bit late.
I think that's the right call. It just looked like it was a late call.
Yeah.
It looked like he was going to get away with it, but I guess not. That's two pretty big hits there from Tamas.
That pass will be tracked down. You can see that Connor Ham had eyes on that ball if it got anywhere near him, but he can't cross that center line, so he has to just leave it there. Let Drinkwater track it down. Man up opportunity. Goodchild goes down low. It skips away. That's going to be snagged there by Kurtzmeyer. He's under a little bit of pressure, but so calm. Flips it over to Josh Wood. And he goes a little toe drag. He's going to go for a bit of a run. Track down. Might be getting himself in a little trouble, but again, very calmly. Brock so poised with the ball. Latrell Harris looking for the give and go. He's got it. Shoots, scores. That is a thing of beauty by Latrell Harris with a little help from Davis Neal.
Beautiful give and go play from Davis Neal and Latrell Harris, but that one all starts with Harris down the other end. He gets that ball, just a little flip pass from Josh Wood. He goes coast to coast. Find Neal, and you could see Neal right away knew that Latrell Harris wanted that ball right back, and he rips it home. Latrell Harris, I mean, what an unbelievable player. I mentioned it already. The best player, the best defensive player in this league. I mean, he's a guy that played short stick defender for Team Canada national team. That just shows how tremendous of a lacrosse player he is, that he can just pick up a completely different player or position and play it in the biggest tournament in the world.
Yeah, and Harris, I mean, I was a little surprised when he made Team Canada because there were so many contenders for it. But, I mean, he's a great athlete and, excellent, great exposure for Kufla, obviously. For him
absolutely.
To have a Kufla member playing for Canada on the biggest stage. But to me, when I saw him, I was in Netanya, Israel for the Worlds calling games, and I saw him come out with a short stick. I just thought, what? But he was terrific.
Yeah.
Man, he's such a great athlete. Such a smart lacrosse player. Just 20 years of age still.
Yeah, I know.
2 complete years in the National Lacrosse League. And the thing on that goal was he was just kind of trotting along, but as soon as he made the pass, he accelerated.
Yep.
He saw what was there. He didn't give away anything. He made his move as he made the pass.
Yeah.
And so he didn't draw any extra attention.
No, just creating enough separation to get that back. I mean, with the long pole in your hand, getting those shots off are even more difficult, and he just got it off with relative ease and put it right top shelf. It was a tremendous play.
8-2 it makes it for the Brock Badgers. Here's a long drive and a finish. Connor Brown was just running all over the offensive zone and dodging defenders left, right, and center, getting a little help from his teammates, and then just bounces one home.
I mentioned his first goal was a pretty standard Connor Brown goal, but that one there is peak Connor Brown, just bashing, crashing through bodies, and off balance, just throwing a beautiful little skipper. Coaching against him, playing against him even in his earlier ages in junior with the Halton Hills Bulldogs. He was a tremendous player. Went on to play in Brampton at the junior A level and was fantastic there as well. And I mean, it seems that every single level that he plays at, he excels. He still hasn't quite found his stride in the professional ranks yet, but I know with him continuing in hockey, I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon.
Should share our officials for today. We forgot to mention them off the top. Mike Drake is the crew chief. Neil McDonald and Ryan Dutkus are the referees, and our CBO is Greg Fansett. And boy, I learned a new appreciation for the CBO, the role that they play in a game, when I was actually down sitting by the sideline at a game in Netanya, Israel this summer, and realizing just how much goes into a CBO, just controlling everything over around the change boxes. Here's Rooney trying to fight off, get the shot. Actually, he winds up passing it down. Won't quite connect. Just trying to find Will Craig.
Good call by the officials to recognize that was a pass. Obviously, the Lakers pretending it's a shot as they always do, and as they should. You're right.
You got to try and get that ball back if you can. Davis Neal lobs it in behind. Campbell Parker will start things from X. He's watched closely by Quinn Harding. Remember, game 2, quarterfinal number 2 here at the Baggataway Cup. The 7 o'clock game tonight will see the McGill Redmen and the host, University of Toronto Blues. Go to the Kufla site, kufla.ca. See a pretty cool story about the history of those two programs, starting both of them back in the 1800s. It's a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. And we talked about it. UT here, Varsity Stadium, so much history. And, you would never guess because how beautiful of a stadium it is. Oh,
it's another backhand whip by Campbell Parker. He's got 2 goals like that, one high, one low, but both just beautifully placed shots on the backhand.
I mentioned it. That's just the type of player Parker is. Doesn't move too much around the net, but he doesn't need to. As you see there, just barely gets over GLE, and just throws it with that little backhand whip, as you mentioned. And Parker, sorry.
Yeah.
Campbell
Okay.
Parker.
It happens.
There's just so many offensive weapons, you lose track of who's scoring. But that was his 3rd of the game, like you said, 2nd. That was almost near identical from his 1st goal of the game.
Great job by Sebastian Beaudoin on the face-off on the draw team to get that one. And Brock right back to the attack. They lead 10-2 as we're nearing the midway point of the 3rd quarter. I'm Stephen Stamp with Pat Gregoire. This is the 2018 Baggataway Cup on Lacrosse TV. Braden Tracy working hard, trailing after Connor Ham. Yeah, it's going to be a slash, and I was... is it Tracy going, or is it... No, it's not. It's Hayden Como.
Yeah, I was just going to say Hayden Como going to sit down for the slash there.
I'll tell you, that was some hustle by Tracy, getting after Connor Ham. Brock with the man up. That ball gets out the back end. And we're going to have it's going to be a crease violation.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I thought the Brock player did run for the crease. Good call by the officials. Oh, beautiful rusty gate check from Tyrus Rahanek. That's just the type of player Rahanek is. He's a buzzsaw when the ball isn't in his stick. Always riding, trying to get the ball back for his offense, and that's exactly what he does right there.
Brock with a little bit of time left, a hard shot. Is that Woodland or Neal on the far side? That was Curtis Woodland. It's been fairly quiet today. And then he's stopped by Andrew Wood. Wow, he's been terrific.
Yeah, Wood with plus at least more than 10 saves now, but it's not just the amount of saves. It's
he's in trouble though.
Yeah.
Oh, Connor Ham can't believe it. That one kind of drifted on him. And Nipissing will get the ball as they had a player over. Again, it's not just who's closest to the end line. It's the player who's closest to the spot that the ball went out when the ball exits the field. And they were in good position, but Connor Ham had the wide open net and just kind of let that one drift off the far end of the stick and didn't get the wrist turned over. I know that because I have that trouble when I start to shoot far side and drop the head of my stick. It tends to take off on me off into the far corner. And I've been working on it, trying to pull it back a little. It's
all
easy.
about progress.
It is. It's so easy though when you start heading for that far side to just kind of let the head open up a bit too much and get away from you. Trace will step across midfield. They had someone staying back front for him. He was actually standing at the 50. And he could have gone 5 yards before it even became an issue. He still got the ball. Oh, but he strapped on the trail check. Just left it there a bit too long, and Justin Brack will knock it away. But it's going to be a foul, a possession push call. And Nipissing will take over. Ooh. Nipissing actually had 7 guys in the offensive end of the field there. Yeah. I think all the officials play had been blown in. They were looking up into the attacking zone, and Nipissing got away with a little offside. There's Latrell Harris with the trail check. We were talking at halftime about how difficult it is to play this Brock defense. Here's Tamas running with the ball, makes a little pass off, can't quite connect, trying to get it to Mackenzie Mitchell. And Nipissing will get it and head back the other way. Ty Steele runs into his own end first. And the D-Midi.
Yeah, Tamas has to realize he's got to lead his player there with that pass. Instead, it goes back. He is a left-handed shot, so it goes right to his backhand. And it makes it a really difficult catch for Mackenzie Mitchell to make there on the run and causes a turnover here for the Lakers.
Nipissing being very patient on the clear, which is good. You want to play it smart. On the other hand, you are down 10-2. You've got 26 and a half minutes to get those 8 goals back. So you do have to progress the ball up the field. Now they're going to start to try and go. Drinkwater. Nicely done getting through everyone. He's being tracked down there by Wire. And Brock will cause that change of possession. And again, the dropsies getting to Nipissing a little bit, but you got to give some credit on that one and on several others to the pressure that Brock applies.
Certainly.
All over the field.
No doubt about it. But, Jack Drinkwater, very upset, runs the full field. And yeah, there is pressure on him to make that pass go awry, but still, nonetheless, you could easily slow things down, get out of pressure, get into safe space rather than trying that long pass, and it just goes right by the feet of Tyler Goodchild. And I mean, Goodchild, you could argue, probably has the best hands on the team right now with the Lakers, and if he's not able to grab it, then probably not in the best spot.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just watching because the stream is slightly behind live, obviously, as it tends to be. Here's a chance for Brock, and the shot on the run. What a finish by Connor Brown. Man, we've seen some nice goals out of this kid.
Yeah, it just seems when he gets running, he is so tough to stop. You talk about running backs, and they run downfield. Well, that's the type of runner, the type of dodger that Connor Brown is. He's got that big body and has sneaky speed. as he just burns by, throws that little face dodge, and then puts everything into it. And he doesn't try to pick corners all the time. He just throws it on net and puts it in the difficult spots for the goalie to make. Maybe that's the hip, at the shins. Does not always try to go high to high. That a lot of
he
kids
changes up the
doing.
plane.
Always change the plane. And that's his 3rd goal of the game. Add an assist as well. So I talked about it before the game. Maybe not the stats that we've seen Connor Brown get during the regular season, but you knew he was going to have a big Baggataway Cup, and he's off to a hot start so far.
Andrew Wood kind of baiting Tyrus Rahanic there. He got through, but then the pass thrown away, and that would have been a nifty little move by Ward Loveday if he'd gotten away with it, but just kind of took the feet out from Davis Neal, and Neal will start with possession for Brock. But I was saying, the feet is a little bit behind, so I was watching the feet of the Nipissing pass that was thrown away that Goodchild couldn't get, and there was really no pressure. I mean, he was being trailed, but it was just again a little mistake. So something Nipissing's going to want to clean up. Brock setting up at the top as Adam Buis will just spin and hand it off. Bodie Shields getting some time up at the top, hands it to Connor Aquino. So plenty of subs, getting some time for Brock. That pass doesn't quite connect, just beyond Davis Neal. It's going to roll away, and Nipissing will get possession.
It's another costly drop from Neal. I don't even know if it was a drop. I think it just went right by his stick. But Davis Neal not playing the way that we're used to seeing him at all here. He's had a ton of chances. He does have a couple of points, but still, with the amount of chances that he's had in prime scoring areas, he should have at least 3 or maybe even 4.
Drinkwater on the run, hands it off. An opportunity did not arise for Riley Sloan, so he spins back around. And you can see the middies really getting involved in the attack. They have to. We talked to Jason Rudge, the Nipissing coach, before the game, and I said, you only have 3 attack listed outside of Scott Dominy, who's not here, not playing with the dislocated shoulder. He said, that's all they've got. There's a shot, underhand by Drinkwater. Nice save by Josh Wood. Both goalies coming up with some big saves. Lovely play to just tap that ball back to his teammate under pressure. Riley Sloan. Really smart move. Actually, I think that was probably Sam Rooney, number 20, not 28.
Yeah, it would be Rooney, actually. You're right.
Yeah.
And he's had himself one heck of a game. A couple of goals, a couple of heads-up plays there as well.
Yeah, it's Riley Sloan is sitting at X and waiting to pop out. Stay with us at the 3rd quarter intermission. We're going to be joined by Trent University head coach Mark Farthing to talk about their game tomorrow and how things are going with the Excalibur program. He's here, of course, scouting out because they will be playing the winner of this game. Looking very much right now like it will be the Brock Badgers. Nipissing driving to try and get some more goals, try and creep back in. They did pull within 7-2 with those 2 Sam Rooney goals. Backpedaling is Tyler Goodchild. He's followed all the way out there by McGregor Allen in the LSM. And boy, you've got to earn your stripes as a backup at Brock as an LSM when you've got Latrell Harris and Adam Kirchmeier are the guys that are ahead of you in the role. That ball is knocked over center. Comes back though, scooped up there by Drinkwater. What a recovery by Rahanic to get out on him. And Rahanic back in the defensive zone. Rahanic was there at the Founders Cup with Curtis Woodland, winning a National Junior B Championship with the Elora Mohawks.
Great slide by Tamas to take away that scoring opportunity there.
Brock's so quick to be there. We were talking about it at halftime. As you turn your head as an opponent of Brock, the slide is there. It's not like you've got that beat to think about what to do. You need to really be prepared, know what you're going to do before the ball gets to you. Well, that ball just popped out of the stick of Drinkwater again. It's pretty wet out there. There's Goodchild down low. Nice finish. What a shot by Tyler Goodchild. Getting up in the air, a little twister, and tucks it home.
See, Steven, that's where maybe a little too aggressive this Brock defense does. Getting out a little bit too much, get to the hands, and as a defender, when you're reaching out, it's easy for an offensive player to get that pass, dodge quickly, and take it in the net. And that's exactly what you see there with Alex Tanis, and maybe kind of underestimating the skill of some of these Lakers players, as we talked about. Tyler Goodchild, no slouch as well. We've seen him light it up at many points during the season.
All right, we're going to have Mark Farthing step in and join us. Pat, yeah, I guess you're going to have to kind of make way because we only have the 2 mics handy. But you can shout out some questions too if you want. But we've got Pete Rennie here as well, defensive coordinator, I guess is your official title with the Excalibur, Peter. Yeah. So Mark Farthing, you got to get fairly close to the mic, but. First-year head coach of Trent. You've been involved with the program for a while. You guys clinched first place in the East. You're here scouting this out. What are you seeing tonight, first of all?
Obviously it's 2 good teams going at it here. We had some good battles with Nipissing. That's a hard-working team. It's unfortunate that they lost their 2 big guns there, and maybe not the best play. But, obviously they drove here. They're working hard, and they're doing what they can. Brock's got a lot of talent. We're here kind of seeing what we thought we were going to see. I don't mean score-wise. I mean, just energy and enthusiasm. And, we're just more so just, seeing what it smells like here, getting the views and getting ready for tomorrow. So
Scott Dominey and Tanner Poole are here, by the way. We talked to Jason Rudge before the game, and he said, no, it was quite clear they needed to be here. Keep growing this program, be part of this. They're cheerleaders on the sideline, so good for them for being here. But you'll be facing, it looks like Brock tomorrow, and it can be challenging when teams don't play any interdivision games to get a book on a team. I mean, you saw Brock last year, obviously. You get to see them at the Baggataway every year, but you don't get a lot of up close and personal views at them.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, it's an interesting kind of predicament when the East teams don't play the West teams once all season. I'm sure we all have video of each other and have all seen it. But at the end of the day, until they blow the whistle at the start of the game, you don't really know what you're getting into. With that being said, we make adjustments and kind of formulate our game plan to other teams. We like to make sure that we're doing what we do and playing TU ball as well. So that's mostly what we're focused on.
One of the things, and I've had the fortune to stand on the sideline for some of your games between the 2 benches, and one of the things I know your coaching staff, you and Josh Wasson, is very vocal about it, and is play our game, be smart, don't talk to the refs, don't talk to the other team. Let's think about Trent and not think about whoever it is we're playing.
Yeah, for sure. We've been trying to clean up our behavior a little bit. We don't talk to the cops anymore. Nothing to the refs. We're trying to behave the best we can. We know that's when we kind of get away from our game a little bit. But at the same time, we played McGill late season, last game of the season. We had an extremely disciplined game. Only went to the box a couple times, mostly in coincidental situations, and we were quite successful. So we know the keys to success. We know what's in the recipe. It's just about putting it together for us.
Huge battle for Brock here as Mitch Gustafson works very hard to come up with the ball and get it, and then actually throws the ball away, but it bounces around a bit, and Mackenzie Mitchell gets it back, so Brock goes to the attack. And one thing, we've talked about the Brock defense. They're so quick to slide. They're so deep, so multi-talented. And at Trent, of course, you've got a very multifaceted offense. You've got a lot of good attackers. We're just going to let this play out here as Brock. Oh, what a pickoff by Andrew Wood. Great job to jump up in the air and take it. And how does that match up work out? You're seeing what these guys can do firsthand here. You know it's going to be challenging, but I think you've got to feel like that's going to be a fun and exciting challenge.
Yeah, obviously it's going to be a great matchup. We talk at home sometimes and say, sometimes we wish we could play McGill 3 or 4 times a season, right? Just because we like the good games. So when we see a matchup like this, we see talent like this on the other field, on the defensive end especially. It's not more so us thinking, no, what are we going to do here? Like we like these games. We're excited to come out and play and have these games this weekend just because, this is the level we like to play at. We want to go to war here. So, we're in the right spot. We're excited for tomorrow.
Anthony Louch with the pickoff for Brock, and they head back the other way. There's a rip, and that is an absolute rocket from Alex Pace. And as we go forward, thanks. Mark Farthing, just want to say thanks. We're going to bring Pat Gregoire back in, but we appreciate you coming in. And Peter Rennie, enjoy the rest of the game. You're welcome to stay up here where it's warm if you want to, guys. All right, they're heading back outside. So, Mark Farthing, the head coach of the Trent University Excalibur, and taking over from Jeff McKinley. Farthing's just the third coach in that program's history, and I'm based in Peterborough, so I get to see more Trent games than any other team because it's a 10-minute drive for me. And you go to the games, and there's Mark Farthing coaching, and there's Jesse Thomas, the first coach, covering the games for Czechs television. But also, just he's there anyway. Even if he's not working, he comes out. And there's Jeff McKinley, the second coach. He's there. He has his family, the multiple children he's got, which is why he's not coaching the team anymore. He loved doing it, but he had some family commitments. But they're all there. They're all they're buying in at Trent, and it's exciting to see a program like that rise.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, you kind of had a feeling that Mark Farthing was going to get a head coaching job somewhere, and it worked out well that McKinley was able to hand over the reins to Farthing because he was working so well with this program. And one thing that I was seeing this team, and one thing that Farthing even said is the discipline thing, and that's one thing that really, really hurt that program in the last few years, and that's one thing that they wanted to tighten up. They want to play a cleaner game because down in so many big games, they find themselves in penalty trouble, and once you get into penalty trouble, you're talking back to the refs, and the refs remember that stuff, and it's great to see that they've made a better effort to play a cleaner, smarter, more gentlemanly game.
Big battle around the midfield area. Louch swatted it ahead, trying to pull off the play that they'd done earlier, but it goes straight to Braden Trace, who's all over the field. I mean, he comes from the far side, sees how things are developing, gets in the position to get that ball, get it back up to the attack. So, again, some good things happening for Nipissing. This is about growth for them. I know they want to come back and win this game. They're down 12-3 with 16 minutes to go here. It's not likely to happen. But you can see they're still attacking. They're still playing smart. They're not looking discouraged, which is a very good sign. And then they just kind of throw the ball away. Here comes Brock the other direction. Connor Ham tries to make the pass through the middle. Boy, there's some contested ground balls in this game. Oh, almost had a pole-to-pole pass for an opportunity at the net as Quinn Harding tossed a pass across. I believe that was Joseph McMahon that he was throwing it to, and it was just a bit behind him.
Just a little bit behind there, but I think McMahon, maybe if this is a game with no rain and not under the lights, he might be able to scoop that ball. But you mentioned it. This is all about growth for this Lakers program. That's what they've done. They've taken so many positive steps towards growing and becoming one of the top programs in the East. I see a chance here for the Badgers. And another great save by Wood. He's been phenomenal, keeping this game so close. But as I was mentioning, this Lakers team's made so much strides, and it's so disappointing that they are missing their two top players in Tanner Poole and Scott Dominy, because it really would have been interesting to see what they could have done at full strength.
Yeah, I mean, it would be so. I mean, it'd be so great for all of us to get to see it. I was looking forward to seeing Scott Dominy play, for one thing, because I haven't had a chance to see him play live this year, and I was pretty excited about it. I'm a big fan, and it is really a shame. But Brock with possession, trying to extend that 12-3 lead. We got 14 and a half to go here in the fourth quarter. I'm Steven Stamp. There's a shot by Curtis Woodland, another save by Andrew Wood. Brock gets it back as the ball rolled off into the corner. Didn't even get out of play, and is snagged there by Cree Blakely. Feeds it through, and they're going to slow things down, get all set up. Grayson Houghton. There's a rip sidearm by Curtis Woodland on the run. Switches hands, goes righty. And that's a perfect position, and Andrew Wood can't get them all.
No, and he's not going to get that. That's a goal scorer's goal. Curtis Woodland, you talked about it, relatively quiet game for him, but not a quiet season. 38 points, 31 goals on the year. He's a spectacular player. Was a transfer from Mercyhurst, one of the top D2 schools here. Comes here. Last year was a great piece, and he just continues to grow. Just a very special player. And like you said, we saw him at the Founders Cup, and he was unbelievable. He was by far the best player at that tournament, and I anticipate he'll be one of the better players in this tourney here today.
I'll tell you, we didn't see him shoot righty at the Founders Cup.
No,
sure.
No, we did not.
Another ground ball battle won there by Brock. And Davis Neal Oh, what a great angle. As you can see all the rain, all the mist coming off the back of the net as he absolutely stung that one. He's clearly taken the approach of shoot it as hard as you can tonight and see what happens.
Yeah, if you're not going to change your plane, if you're going to go with that, 3/4 release up in the upper half of the net, might as well make it as hard as you can. And this is the Davis Neal that we're expected to see. And I don't want to seem like I'm, harping on him, but I mean, he is a talented player. And the player that we saw in the first half wasn't the Davis Neal that we're expected to see. What we've seen later in this other game, in the later stages, I should say, that's the type of player that Tim Louis is expecting for him to be, in the semifinals and potentially even in the finals.
Yeah, and we've seen it. I mean, the fourth-year sport management student from Orangeville, Davis Neal, has been a big part, played a big role for this team over the years.
Even in his freshman year, I believe he had 30-plus points. So, I mean, he's always been a top contributor. This year, not quite the case.
Nipissing with the ball possession off the face-off, and Drinkwater setting things up. Under 12 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. We'll have the player of the game ceremony after the game. And then we move on to McGill and Toronto at 7 o'clock tonight. And tomorrow, of course, the winner of this game, looking very much like Brock, will play Trent at 1 p.m. That shot goes a little bit high. Nipissing will retain possession. Drinkwater's shot going out the back end. And then at 4 o'clock tomorrow, the Western Mustangs will play the winner of tonight's McGill-Toronto late game. And then Sunday, the championship is at 1 o'clock. We'll have all the action live on Lacrosse TV. This game and all the games this weekend are a copyright broadcast of Lacrosse TV and Canadian University Field Lacrosse Association. No rebroadcast or retransmission by any means is allowed without express written consent. So just get in touch with us if you need something. Drive through the middle. Drinkwater gets the ball back. Couldn't quite get much on the shot, but it was scooped up and almost a great finish by Sam Rooney, looking for his hat trick, but he was turned aside by a Brock goaltender. We actually have is that Josh Wood still in? I thought for a moment that he changed, but that is Josh Wood still in there for Brock. And they get possession. Head up into the offensive zone. Turnover. And there's Goodchild coming up with a nice simple pass ahead to Riley Ruff. Rooney waiting for his offensive cohort to join him. Oh, that actually was Riley Sloan, number 28, passing the ball back up top to Drinkwater. And Drinkwater, he's been playing up and down the field, both ends of it. He's going to go take a little break. And Pat Fitzgerald in for him. Fitzgerald looking for a pass, will take it. He and Ty Steele trying to run a little two-man game. Oh, that pass skips off the shin. Kept in bounds, though. Nice hustle by Sloan. He's watched there by Brett McKinnon. Brett McKinnon, number one, the long pole on the near side for Brock, is one of three Nova Scotia natives on this Brock team. He's from Dartmouth. Also got Alex Pace, a midfielder from Halifax, and from Hammonds Plains, Nova Scotia. Third-year midi Connor Aquano.
Great trail check from Wire, and he still has the smarts to go back, grab the ball, and run it up the field. That's exactly why he was a defensive midfielder selection for the All-Canada team.
Yeah, the honorable mention Wire from Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario, so not venturing too far from home.
No.
Not from Nova Scotia, but I'll tell you,
No.
kids from St. Catharines, Niagara, Welland, that area, they love to go to this school because it's such a beautiful part of the world down that way, and get to go to the school. And obviously, if you're a lacrosse player, what a program you get to be a part of. I'm Steven Stamp with Pat Gregoire. Thanks for being with us for the Baggataway Cup on Lacrosse TV from Varsity Stadium at the University of Toronto. The rain's still bouncing pretty solidly. It's really picked up again. There's a shot on the run. There's a bouncer. That one scoots wide of the net. And a hustle. Saul Vanderzam comes up with it. Another Niagara on the Lake native. That pass gets away, but good positioning for Anthony Louch, but a battle ensues. And it's going to be Josh DeLauro coming up with possession and throws it up into the offensive zone where Bodie Shields will pass it. So Brock getting lots of time on the field now for some of their backup players. We talked about it earlier.
Yeah, all three close defenders out right now are all getting some touch here. None of the starters are out there anymore. So good to see that some of these youngsters and some upperclassmen that still just aren't usual starters that are getting some burn here too.
Yeah, the entire 9 runners, I think, have changed here for Brock. That's Connor Aquino running with it. Pass to the middle. Oh, almost a glorious finish by Bodie Shields. Caught the pass on the run. Had to reach behind him. Got the shot off, but it goes off the crossbar. Andrew Wood will start with possession for Nipissing. We're into the final 7 minutes. Drinkwater back out, going for a run. Puts his shoulder down, makes it over center. Nice little look to make sure he was clear. He's coming all the way, and it's going to rip it. He was looking to pass. It looked like the shooting lane opened better than the passing lane, so he took it. But a nice job there by McKinnon to get out on him and just contest the shot. Anthony Louch comes up with it. Pass hits Adam Buis on the run. Yet another Niagara on the Laker. And that leads to a goal. The underhand rip by Sam Leclerc from Welland, Ontario, a freshman in sociology. Well, I'll tell you that Niagara area connection working well for this St. Catharines club.
Yeah, and you can see that it works to your advantage if you're in a area that has a lot of lacrosse and junior and minor lacrosse. You're in St. Catharines, that Niagara region. Why not try to convince some of these players to stay home, play for a perennial powerhouse, and you're playing with guys that maybe you played with or played against all the way growing up.
Timeout for Nipissing. So we've got 5:34 to go. It's 15-3 for the Brock Badgers. I'm Steven Stamp with Pat Gregoire. And I mean, you went down south of the border to play lacrosse, and there's a lot of value for a lot of people to going south of the border. But I will say, anytime I get a chance, that if you are a Canadian player and you're wondering where you should go to school, look at CUFLA. Yeah. Look at the schools here. You're going to get a quality education wherever you go. There's some really quality lacrosse programs. The student side of the student athlete is very much focused on here, and I think it's worth researching. I'm not going to tell anyone go here, don't go there. I will tell you, research all your opportunities.
And I agree, and I think the league itself has grown so much just over the last few years as well. Not just from a league standpoint, but the fact with there's just so much more depth and parity in the league. Each week, obviously, with making my top 6, you have an idea of the rough 5 or 6, maybe even 7 teams that are in the mix. But the fact is that, in years past, it was really 2, 3, 4 teams that you knew that were right there, and then the other ones you could fill in. You could make an argument for those top 5 teams, top 6 teams, that you could bounce them in all different positions. And it's not just the Brocs that, used to win 5, 6 Baggataway Cups in a row, not taking anything away from those, historical teams.
Oh, fantastic.
But
teams.
coming into year in, year out, you really don't know who is a top contender. You know who will be in this tournament or who should be there, but there's never one clear-cut winner anymore.
Well, this year we've got 4 teams at 9-1 coming into this tournament. Brock and Western in the West, McGill and Trent in the East. They each division, they split the games. And I'll tell you, Laurier pushed Western last week in the playoffs. The Nipissing Queens game, other than the ending and the tragic or the really ugly ending. Some great stuff going on in with those games.
Ottawa's made some strides as well.
Ottawa pushed Trent last week as well. I'll tell you, they were the 6th seed playing a number 1, and they were within 2 goals with just a few minutes left in that game. It was a great game. Fred Hartley doing a great job for Ottawa. I mean, You've got J.P. Keeley is coaching that team. Guy who's on the verge of becoming an NLL star. Great strip on the double team by Brock, and they're going to push it back up the other way. But enough of a diatribe about Kufla. We love it. It's fun. Look into it if you're a young player wondering what you want to do with yourself. Brock taking their time. Patience around the outside. Alex Pace playing catch there with Grayson Houghton. So some of the guys who play more minutes back in. And a shot on the run. And again, popping up the spray by Alex Pace on the low shot.
A beautiful goal there from Alex Pace. And Pace, like you said, getting a chance there to get a little more offensive touches. We see him sometimes playing more of a defensive midfielder or transitional midfielder position, but there he shows why he gets some opportunities there and just rips that beautiful shot on the run.
And that goal was set up by Curtis Woodland. All Canadian attack, or the All Canadian midi, coming back into his own end and doing a great over the head wrap check to knock that ball loose, come up with possession of the ground ball, and make the pass ahead to start things up. So, 31 goal scorer, and he's shown he can do it both ends of the field. Big battle off the face-off. Brock comes up with it. Adam McKinnon going for a run. McKinnon, the fourth-year economics student from Georgetown, Ontario. He's one of those, veteran guys you were talking about that doesn't get to play a ton of minutes, but this is a pretty big thrill, obviously, for some of these guys to be out here at the Baggataway Cup, under the lights, playing on the big stage. Brock with under 3 minutes to go here. The clock will stop on the screen, but it is running. We are into stop time. Oh, what a finish. Little dip and dunk. A couple of nice fakes by Sam Leclerc, the freshman from Welland. That's a great finish.
It's a great finish, and that's the future of Brock Lacrosse right there. You see a guy that, with so much skill and talent, still not being able to get much playing time this season due to the fact that there's just so much, depth at that position, at attack, at midfield. But you know what? You get your opportunities, like you said earlier on. This is where these players learn what it's like to play in a national championship. Sure, it's maybe only for a quarter in the fourth, but when it comes their time, to be a top producer, it's not a new stage for them. They already know what it takes.
Nice face-off win by Tyler Loney. He's been battling all game. Then the ball gets knocked away. Did we have a timeout? Yep. Nipissing got the timeout before Brock could attain possession, so they will start with the ball. And again, the clock stops just for the final 3 minutes on the screen, on the scoreboard here, as our clock on the screen is directly linked to the scoreboard clock at the end of Varsity Stadium.
You mentioned Leclerc, a Niagara talent. He also played Junior B lacrosse with Welland before getting traded to the St. Catharines Spartans. So no stranger to the Niagara parts, being a native of Niagara on the Lake. And like I said, playing for Welland and for St. Catharines, both those Junior B programs, and now playing for Niagara's university team in the Brock Badgers.
We'll be back at 7 o'clock. We've got a little bit of time left here in this game. We've got less than 3 minutes to go. Remember, we will have the players of the game announced post-game. If you'd like to let us know who you think they should be or who you think the players of the game are, let us know. Just go to @lacrosse_TV. Is that it? @lacrosse_TV. I should actually double check that.
Underscore. Yeah,
it is
underscore.
underscore.
Yeah, you got it. Nailed it. There you go.
Nice. It comes up obviously for me. There's underscore @_Lacrosse TV. There you go. The underscore is first. I was screwing up there. But I just put, obviously my Twitter remembers it. So I don't actually have to think too much about what it is, but we are very pleased to be on Lacrosse TV. Great partnership for the league. And I'm Steven Stamp with Pat Gregoire, and we thank you very much for being with us for this game. It's 17-3 for Brock over Nipissing. Nipissing has the ball, and Mark Smido going for a bit of a run. You're seeing some Nipissing players getting some playing time here. Ty Steele, who spent a lot of time in the defensive zone, up on offense, facing off there against Mackenzie Mitchell. Nice pass down low. Not quite the space that Will Craig wanted, but a great strip by Anthony Louch, second-year student in history out of Toronto. And I'll tell you, Louch is looking in the time he's got to play today, looking very much like he's ready to step into a role. We've talked about the guys coming up, following in the footsteps of Josh Harris. And obviously, I mean, there have been some great players on this Brock team, and just in the defensive zone, I mean, Steve Friolo, some amazing players have come through this program. And
Mark Farthing, one of them.
Farthing, the Brock Badger.
Yep.
Won championships with the Badgers and wants to do the same now.
He was a part of that last true dynasty that the Badgers have had. And, they've had some great teams, but they just haven't had the success. 2009, the last time that they have won a Baggataway Cup. And, for some programs that might seem like a little bit of a long time, for Brock, it's like an eternity.
Yeah, they have been very used to success in this program. Quick shout out to the love of my life, Carrie McMaster, back at Revive Hair Lounge in Peterborough, who's coloring and has the game on, as everyone should. I mean, whatever you're doing, keep the game on Lacrosse TV. Ball slips away, pops up in the air. Nobody quite sees where it is. Oh, nice reaction by Mark Smido to grab that. The fourth-year education student from Elora trying to drive the length of the field. Shoots, scores. What a goal, and a golden Baggataway Cup moment for Mark Smido.
Smido taking a hard hit there as he slowly trots off, but hey, take your time, because what an unbelievable individual effort that was by Smido.
Again, it all starts from a defensive play, as is so often the case.
Yep.
He just jumps on his man, knocks the ball loose, comes up with it, and it was really just seeing that the ball slipped away from Blair Petrareva and going aggressively after it, and the quick hand-eye coordination when he saw it pop in front of him, and then withstands the hit, fights through four Brock defenders, takes the big hit from Louch at the end, but he buried it, and he's going to remember that one.
He's going to remember it, and he's probably going to feel it tomorrow morning.
Yes.
That was a hard hit.
Brock, the give-and-go finish. Nice shot. Saul Vanderzam throws the pass to X, cuts to the middle, retrieves it, and a pretty fancy little goal celebration between Sam Leclerc and Tyrus Rahanic. And I think Saul Vanderzam was like, that's my goal, but I don't quite get this celebration you're doing here.
Well, we've seen the Badgers with some, I don't want to say choreographed goal celebrations, but they've had their fair share, and they're out there having fun. It's a business trip, but at the same time, they're still having fun scoring goals here.
18-4. We're counting down the final moments of this game. Boy, Vanderzam watching the for us the replay. The live feed is a little behind the feed is a little behind the live action, and the nice thing Vanderzam did there, makes the pass and just keeps running, reminiscent of the Latrell Harris goal earlier in the game, or make the pass and run into the spot that you want to be in. The game ends 18-4 in favor of the Brock Badgers. Vanderzam with that last goal. They will officially play the Trent Excalibur tomorrow at 1 p.m.
This is a strong victory from Brock. In that second quarter, it kind of seemed like they got away from their game plan. But from that third quarter on, even when they took out their starters, they executed the game plan, flawlessly. And you see the Badgers here, they're a team that is hungry. I mentioned it already. It's been a long time since they've won a Baggataway Cup. There's countless of players that have now gone through this program and haven't won a championship, and I mentioned it. That seems normal for most programs, but not for the Badgers. And they are hitting their stride. They're playing their best lacrosse at the right time, whereas I think in years past they really peaked at the right time and kind of trailed off. But this year they've been fantastic, and they proved it here today. But Nipissing has to keep their heads up high because just even getting to this point was fantastic.
Our players of the game from the Nipissing Lakers, yes, he gave up 18 goals, but Andrew Wood was fantastic.
Yeah, he really, I mean, it kind of got away from him in the third, but I mean, he's faced so much rubber. But in that first half, only allowing 7 goals on, I believe it was 17 shots, pretty solid, and some of those saves were right on the crease.
We thought about Braden Trace too, but man, Wood faced a lot of shots.
Yeah.
And on the other side, obviously several players for Brock could have been considered. We went with Connor Brown, who had a pretty big night scoring-wise.
Yeah, 3 goals, 2 assists, and we didn't see much of him in the fourth quarter. I think he went out for a few midfield shifts, but in basically 3 quarters of work, 4 goals and 2 assists, not too shabby.
That will wrap things up. We have about an hour and 6 minutes until we are back at it. McGill versus Toronto, the hosts, here at Varsity Stadium. Thank you for being with us for this opening game of the 2018 Baggataway Cup on Lacrosse TV. I think we'll keep the feed going so you can see the ceremony, the Player of the Game awards presented. But we are going to wrap things up and get ready for the next game. I'm Steven Stamp with Pat Gregoire. Thanks for being with us on Lacrosse TV. This is the Baggataway Cup.